What's going on today, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today we are doing a pattern test on these Rio Blue Steel. These are the 3.5 inch and they have 1 3/8 ounce of shot. They're the number 3 shot and they fly at 1550 feet per second. And I have experience with Rio shells. I actually truly love them, but don't have any experience with hunting with any of the 3.5 inch, only the 3 inch. But I know at the 3 inch they shot fabulous out of my Mossberg shotgun and my Browning. But we're going to try these 3.5 inches today because for those geese I like a little bit more umph behind the shell and a few more pellets. So people argue and say 3.5 and 3 inch, there's almost no difference, but I think there is personally. You just get that, you get a little more pellets, and I mean, they're flying at the same velocity pretty much, but just a little bit extra pellet. So that's what the shells look like. They're pretty nicely manufactured, and FYI, these are like super cheap shells. For a whole case of the 3.5 inch, I only paid $200 and I think it was $200, maybe $210, something like that. I mean, that's what they all look pretty good to me. So we're gonna try letting some rip here. I got some targets. This is what I like using for my shotgun pattern testing. It's an 18 inch piece of paper by a 12 inch piece of paper. I guess the real measurement is 11.5 by 17.5, but same deal. It's about the size of a duck flying. A lot of people use the 30 inch circle, but I just like using this. So I got one for 20 yards, and then I have one for 40 yards. So we're gonna go ahead and test it out, and I'm gonna be firing this stuff out of my Browning A5, good old gun. So, and I'm gonna be using the improved modified choke. So I'm gonna go set up a target, and then we'll get ready to shoot. This is the number 3 Rio. Okay, let's go. Let me go check that out, and I'll get right back to you. Alright guys, I'm back here with the target, and that is what it looks like. That's a good pattern. Not gonna lie, that was like the first shot I've taken in a while. I did fire about an inch above this green dot, but even with that mistake, that's still that bird is so dead at 20 yards, it wouldn't even know what to do with itself. Goose or duck, I mean, that's a freaking good pattern. I'll do a pellet count after, and I will put it right here. Now let's take a step back, and we're going to shoot at 40 yards with the same shell. I want to tell you guys something before we get started, that steel is not supposed to pattern good. Well, we all hope it does, but it really doesn't pattern good past like 40 yards. I'm not saying you can't kill a duck at 60 yards, because you definitely, it's doable. But with a modified choke and regular steel shot, typically it won't pattern good past 40 yards. So we're going to pop a shot at 40 yards, and even that's kind of pushing it in my opinion. But we're going to give it a shot, and we'll see what the heck happens. Let me go place the target out, and I'll get right back to you. Alright, let me go pull that target, and I'll check it out. Alright guys, I'm back with the target. So, this is what it looks like right here. For 40 yards, that's a pretty freaking good pattern. I ain't gonna lie. Let me get my Sharpie, and let me count pellets now actually. Alright guys, so just circled all the pellets so you can actually see it a little better now. We had 75 pellets on target. Excuse me. We had 75 pellets on target at 40 yards. I think that's pretty good, because picture it this way. Shot at the duck, you led the duck or goose, and picture this is a duck. Sorry, my Sharpie's a little wet, but I mean, this is going to be a pretty small duck, obviously, but picture that, its head, a little bit of neck. I'm not a very good artist, FYI. And then picture this, its body, and then wing there, wing there. Now obviously this isn't a real life replica of a duck, you can probably clearly see that. But look at all those pellets, broken wings, tons of body, tons of headshots, and tons in the other wing. I know there's some holes in the pattern, but it really doesn't take a lot of pellets to kill a duck in my opinion. Especially if you use bigger pellets like number 3, like that's a pretty good size that's a pretty good pattern. That's definitely a dead bird. So let me get the 20-yard shot and I'll count the pellets on that. Just counted up the pellets on the 20-yard shot and we had 161 pellets. Just picture if that was a duck or a goose. I'm not going to draw out a artistic duck again, but you get the hint. Like that's a good pattern right there. So will I be using these shells? Yes, I will. I think that's very good for just a regular choke and a gun, no special choke tube, and for a 40-yard shot to have 75 pellets on target, that's pretty freaking good, and extraordinarily good for the 20-yard shot as well. So I think you guys should try them. It's at least worth a shot. If you don't like them, you don't like them. I like them because, for one, I'm cheap when it comes to buying duck shells. I mean, I feel like I kill just as many ducks as if I was to be using an expensive shell. And basically the main thing is you want to be able to be a accurate shooter, because if you're not an accurate shooter, it's not going to matter what kind of shell you use. You could be spending stupid money on bismuth or tungsten, but if you're not a good shot and you don't do a lot of practice, then you're not going to kill a duck regardless of what shell you're using. I have faith in these shells here. I know a lot of guys that don't like them, but I like them a lot. Never had a problem with them. So if you enjoyed this video, thanks for watching. I appreciate you watching. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Next week I will be doing the Rio Blue Steel number 4 shot in the 3.5-inch shell. Pretty much the same test, but we get to see what the difference is between a number 4 shot and a number 3 shot. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and we'll catch you on the next one.